Today, we delve into The Peepers, a suspenseful thriller with mature themes. The story begins as a young couple moves into their new rented apartment. They accidentally discover their neighbors across the street making love without drawing the curtains. Unable to resist, they glance a few more times before realizing that peeping is wrong, and they step away from the window.
Thomas, come on, perv.
Okay.
However, the scene they had just witnessed ignited Lisa's interest. She changed into sexy lingerie, applied perfume and lipstick, and then went to find her boyfriend. But her boyfriend, Xiao Hei, had already fallen asleep. She felt a sense of disappointment. The next day, Lisa went to work at the optometry center and recounted what she had seen the previous night to her colleague and best friend. Her friend quipped that perhaps the couple were exhibitionists, making peeping the polite thing to do. Lisa rolled her eyes at her. Yet, she pondered, realizing that even voyeurism could be rationalized. Upon returning home, Lisa and Xiao Hei once again turned their attention to the neighbors. They peered across, pretending to chat casually as if nothing was amiss. Suddenly, they noticed the male neighbor choking on food.
Is he choking?
Oh shit.
Meanwhile, the female neighbor was in another room, wearing headphones and unaware of the situation. Both were frantic. Xiao Hei wanted to call the police, but Lisa insisted there wasn't enough time and urged him to go over and help. Xiao Hei hesitated, concerned that doing so would reveal their voyeurism.
I have to go over there.
Go!
Okay, yeah. Alright.
Fortunately, before Xiao Hei could leave, the female neighbor noticed her husband's distress and ultimately resolved the crisis using the Heimlich maneuver. Late at night, Lisa woke up for a drink of water and instinctively looked towards the neighbors again. She saw the female neighbor leaving home with luggage, while the male neighbor stood by the window, watching her depart. He was shirtless, his muscular physique clearly defined. Lisa became engrossed, her gaze growing distant, her lips slightly parted as she yearned to see more clearly. The next day, she unhesitatingly purchased a pair of binoculars. Upon seeing this, Xiao Hei verbally chided his girlfriend for going too far, but immediately began to watch with keen interest. Unbeknownst to them, the binoculars proved to be a timely purchase, for at that very moment, while his wife was away, the male neighbor brought another woman home. Verbally, they condemned the male neighbor, but inwardly, they found the situation immensely stimulating. Thus, battles simultaneously commenced on both sides. However, it wasn't long before Xiao Hei's battle concluded.
I'm sorry.
Lisa reassured him, saying it was fine, though she harbored some disappointment internally. She continued to watch the battle across the way, for a moment fantasizing that she was the woman opposite. To heighten the thrill, Lisa wished to hear the neighbors' voices. Coincidentally, on Halloween, the neighbor couple hosted a costume party at their home. Lisa and Little Hei seized the opportunity to sneak into their house and successfully installed the listening device. Upon returning home, the two eagerly anticipated listening in on their neighbors. As the principle involved lasers, Lisa, in an attempt to quickly locate the laser beam, used a blackboard eraser to wipe off the cartoon drawing on the blackboard, allowing the dust to create the Tyndall effect. However, the problem was that she had erased a sweet photo of the two of them drawn by Little Hei. Little Hei's expression changed, but Lisa didn't notice, only urging him to start listening immediately. After some operations, Little Hei finally heard the neighbors' voices. At that moment, the neighboring couple was arguing. It turned out that at the dance, the wife had seen her husband take another woman into the bathroom and stay there for an hour, leading her to suspect him of infidelity. Confronted with the accusation, the husband not only remained calm but also flew into a rage, counter-accusing his wife of wrongly accusing him. Finally, under her husband's threat of divorce, the wife chose to apologize and back down. This scene left the two speechless. The man was truly despicable. The next day, Lisa was surprised to discover that the wife had come to the optometry center where she worked to get glasses. After this encounter, Lisa found that she got along very well with the wife, who even invited her to a spa weekend.
Is that weird? No.
Upon returning home, Lisa told Little Hei that she would expose the scoundrel husband's true colors to the wife when the time came. Little Hei shook his head. After the previous incident of erasing the drawing, he had become disgusted with Lisa's obsession with voyeurism. He advised Lisa not to interfere in her neighbor's affairs and to focus instead on her own life.
Am I not enough for you?
I promise I will rip the Band-Aid off and be done.
This is straight up none of your business.
Faced with Lil Hei's opposition, Lisa wavered slightly. She picked up binoculars to look across and saw the wife's blissful expression. A strange jealousy arose in Lisa, and she decided to tell her the truth when the time came. That weekend, Lisa and the wife arrived at the spa as planned. During their casual chat, Lisa learned that the husband was a photographer, and the wife had once been a model. Although the photographer had an eccentric temperament, the model was very dependent on him and had never considered leaving him.
So I've got.
Hearing this, Lisa couldn't bring herself to reveal the truth anymore. However, she later observed the photographer's infidelity becoming increasingly frequent. After 2 days of deliberation, she still decided that she couldn't stand by and do nothing. One day, the model was alone in the living room. Lisa used her computer to remotely connect to the model's home printer and printed out a note that read, "Your husband is cheating on you." Now, Lisa had transformed from an observer into a participant. This ability to interfere in others' lives gave her a sense of control. Upon seeing the note, the model thought it was a prank. Lisa then printed another note, stating that there was evidence in the bathroom trash can. The model's sister went to investigate and, as expected, found a used adult product. At this moment, Xiao Hei walked over. Upon learning that Lisa had exposed the truth, he blamed her for meddling. He picked up the binoculars and saw that the model's sister was surprisingly holding a knife, approaching the sleeping photographer. It appeared she intended to kill the scoundrel. Both of them panicked.
I'm calling the cops. We're about to watch a murder that you instigated.
I didn't tell her to kill anyone. Don't call the police.
Then what do we do?
I don't know.
Fortunately, the model's sister did not actually strike, proving it to be a false alarm. The next day, Lisa apologized to Xiao Hei, stating she would no longer interfere in her neighbor's affairs. Xiao Hei accepted the apology. After reconciling, the two embraced. However, the next moment, Lisa noticed that something seemed to have happened to her neighbor.
No.
It turned out the model's sister had committed suicide. Witnessing this, Xiao Hei's disgust for Lisa reached its peak. He immediately broke up with her and moved out.
Please don't go. I love you.
If you loved me, you would have listened to me.
How was I supposed to know what was gonna happen? Like, what am I supposed to do?
There's nothing you can't do, Pippa. She's dead. Because of you. We're done. It's over.
Lisa cried profusely, never imagining that her intervention would lead to someone's death. After her emotions had somewhat settled, she called the model sister's phone, saying her glasses were ready, then tearfully offered an apology. Although she expressed profound regret, after releasing her emotions, she seemed to feel much better and mentally turned the page. Consequently, she once again picked up her binoculars, resuming her voyeuristic observations of the photographer. She saw the photographer alone in his room, looking forlorn, and couldn't help but fantasize about being with him, finding comfort in each other's presence. Several days passed in this manner, until one particular evening. Lisa saw the photographer go to the bar downstairs and, as if compelled by an unseen force, followed him. Inside the bar, the photographer noticed Lisa covertly glancing at him and deliberately sat down opposite her. Lisa felt very nervous. Up close, the man was indeed handsome. Lisa knew that this man, who brought so many women home, likely relied on more than just his good looks. Sure enough, after only a few words, he earnestly steered the conversation towards adult topics.
Do you watch pornography?
Excuse me?
Porn. Do you watch it?
After a brief moment of shyness, Lisa felt considerably more relaxed. They chatted for a while like this. The photographer expressed his desire to take a picture of Lisa and invited her to his home. Lisa certainly knew what would happen if she went, but this was precisely what her heart desired. And so, the two returned to the photographer's house. Under the photographer's professional guidance, Lisa swiftly removed her clothes and began posing for seductive art photos.
I'll make it less awkward.
What are you doing?
What does it look like?
Meanwhile, having calmed down, Xiao Hei returned to the apartment with a bouquet of flowers, hoping to reconcile with Lisa. Finding Lisa absent, he took a sip of his usual chlorophyll drink, noticed a strange taste, and then poured it out for the bird. He then habitually approached the window and looked across, and what he saw was shocking. Lisa was engaged in an indescribable act with the photographer. The next day, Lisa returned to her apartment to find that Xiao Hei had hanged himself. After the funeral, Lisa discovered that the photographer was also gone. For a period thereafter, Lisa remained immersed in grief. However, she realized that this sorrow was not only due to Xiao Hei's passing but also tinged with disappointment over the photographer's unannounced departure. Then, one day, she saw an advertisement for the photographer on the street, announcing that he would be holding a photography exhibition that evening. She meticulously prepared herself, intending to go to the exhibition to find the photographer. She couldn't quite explain why she felt compelled to seek him out. Before heading to the exhibition, Lisa first met with her best friend for a drink. Her friend, aware of everything she had done, comforted her by saying, "You did nothing wrong, you were single at the time, and a relationship with that neighbor is understandable.
But you're a good person, Pippa. Even if it doesn't feel like that right now."
Lisa shook her head, suspecting herself of being a bitch, as even after her boyfriend's death, her mind was still consumed by thoughts of the photographer.
If I'm such a good person, why do I want to see him again?
Rationally, she knew she could never accept such a despicable man. Yet, she simply desired to see him, even to see him every day. Her friend was speechless.
Okay.
Thus, Lisa arrived at the photography exhibition, where she unexpectedly witnessed an astonishing sight. The model, surprisingly, was not dead. She walked onto the stage and began introducing the photographer's latest works to the audience. Lisa listened in a daze, then followed the model's gaze. The curtain for the new work was drawn open. It was, astonishingly, Lisa's nude photographs. Before Lisa could fully react, one photograph after another was unveiled. They depicted scenes of her and Xiao Hei secretly observing from their apartment. It turned out that Lisa and Xiao Hei had always been subjects of reverse voyeurism by the photographer couple. They were, in fact, the ones being observed. The photographer couple watched as the pair of lovers became uncontrollably engrossed in voyeurism, leading to a dramatic conflict, and culminating in the boyfriend's suicide by hanging. All of this collectively formed a series of highly creative photographic works. So, was it not illegal for the photographer couple to do this? It turned out that the landlord of the apartment where Lisa and her companions lived was the photographer. When they signed the rental agreement with the agent at that time, there was a clause for image publication authorization which they signed without reading carefully. This meant that the photographer's public exhibition of these photos was authorized by them, making it entirely legal. Lisa was heartbroken. The next day, as Lisa was moving, she discovered that all the birds that had drunk the chlorophyll water had died. This naturally sparked suspicion in her mind. That day, the photographer and his wife returned home after an interview and found a bottle of red wine from the art gallery placed at their doorstep. Without a second thought, the two began to drink it. After enjoying the immense popularity brought by his work, the photographer couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt.
Don't you ever feel guilty?
Suddenly, the printer spat out a note that read, "I know Xiao Hei didn't commit suicide, you killed him." The two looked across the way, saw Lisa running, and immediately chased after her.
We just want to talk to you!
Finally, the three confronted each other at the ophthalmology center. It turned out that Lisa suspected her boyfriend had been murdered by the couple. Her conjecture was that the photographer first seduced her to distract her, then Xiao Hei drank chlorophyll water that had been drugged, leading to unconsciousness, and was finally made to look like a suicide by hanging by the model. She believed the photographer and his wife did this because a tragic ending, with her boyfriend's death, would make their work even more impactful. However, Lisa admitted that she had no evidence. Only then did the two let out a sigh of relief. The model began to mock Lisa's overly vivid imagination, but as she spoke, she suddenly fainted and fell unconscious to the ground. Soon after, the photographer also collapsed. It went without saying that the bottle of red wine had actually been sent by Lisa and was laced with drugs. Subsequently, Lisa, an ophthalmic technician, seized the opportunity to perform eye surgery on the two of them. Ultimately, both were left with visual impairments, making normal life a struggle, let alone spying on others. With her great revenge exacted, Lisa put down her binoculars and decided to start a new life. Yet, after only a few steps, she couldn't resist looking back once more.